know what y'all are thinking. I know what you're thinking. I could feel it. Ooh, I feel it. What the hell? Of course, the one time I decide to follow the public, well, not one time, but I should say one time I decided to go all in and say, yeah, definitely, public's right on this. Was it over 60% of the public on all the bets went with the Saints and on the under? And sure enough, offensively, well, up until the fourth quarter, that is, for the Saints, offensively, both teams played their best offense, like I said, minus the Saints until about the fourth quarter, that they played all year. It's just unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. And I can't believe in the end they almost went to overtime. Hey, at least that money line almost cashed for the Saints. But man, I mean, I was right on the Kamara receiving yards, I think. I think he was at like 60-something. He had a ton of receptions. I mean, the guy's just a fantasy machine. What do you have? 17 carries for 62 yards. If you got the rushing and receiving, you definitely had that. Yeah, he had 91 receiving yards, 12 catches. Yeah, definitely the receiving prop. Derek Carr threw the ball 55 times. Thomas, I was kind of I was off on the receptions. I put him at 5. He only had 3, but he did get the ball. Like he did get targeted like I think 7 times. Yeah. What? And it was a wacky game. Fumbles, picks that weren't picks, a pick 6, like just turnovers, like, and just a flat offensive performance throughout the entire game until the fourth quarter when it really mattered. The Saints decided to start playing football. But I'll tell you what, really, when I knew, I didn't watch the whole game. I only watched the first half, and I turned it off. I said, this is garbage, and I just turned it off, and I went to bed because I had to be up extra early this morning for work. And it was a hell of a day. My back has been killing me all week, and I'm really worried that I might have done something to it or something. But that's personal. No one cares about my personal life. All I care about is this ice cold beer I got right here that I'm going to periodically take sips from. Try not to get it captured on the mic because that could sound kind of weird. And I watched the highlights, when I eat breakfast, because I eat breakfast and lunch at work, obviously. And I watched the highlights. I said, "You have got to be kidding me! The Saints actually came back, and but for a dropped pass." And no offense to Foster Moreau or anything like that, but man, if that was Juwan, their starting tight end who was out, if he would have caught that, and that would have been a touchdown. And we probably would have been going to overtime. And if Jacksonville got the ball, they were easily going to go down and score. I don't think the Saints would have stopped them. And offensively, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, they looked sharp. I mean, give or take a few drives. I mean, against a team that's been really good on defense. And they looked sharp against them. Trevor Lawrence looked really good. And then, but I knew it was over. I mean, the Saints came back and they tied the game at 24, I think. And that Christian Kirk touchdown, that's it. The Saints ain't going to recover from that. That was just, that was bad. That was a bad touchdown for the Saints. I mean, it was nasty for the Jaguars, but I mean, it's what happens when you get Christian Kirk the ball, in open space and let him do his thing. But, yeah, I kind of just had to shake my head, man. Just like, yeah, of course this would happen. Because this is that's just how the NFL works, I guess. I mean, in the first half, it looked okay. I mean, we were getting kind of close to that, to getting in sweat mode for the over, because what was it? It was 17-6 at halftime. So yeah, there was like 23 total points, and the next thing you know, just boom, 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 boom. I said, well, there goes the under. And of course, yeah, it just had to happen that way. But anyway, enough about that game. It was a rough one. none of the anytime touchdowns hit unless you had Taysom Hill or Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas probably would have got you some cash if you put a good enough amount of money on that anytime TD because he was in the plus money. But yeah. Now, moving on. Moving on for the injury report for the rest of this week. Let's see. The only player that didn't practice for the Falcons, Calais Campbell, did not participate. They don't really have any game status. For Anthony Nelson and Vita Vea, they're both questionable. Vita Vea not practicing. I mean, at this point in his career, he really doesn't need it. But yeah, I'd say he's probably going to start. For the Bills have a lot of players that have not practiced, or I should say, oh wait, no, they do say full participation, just as their injury status. And yeah, Josh Allen, full. So Kaiir Elam, limited. They don't have the injury designations like the injuries. Yeah, obviously Damian Harris with that scary injury. Cam Lewis. So yeah, Ed Oliver not practicing. That's a big one. For the Patriots, I think they have the most injuries out of any team right now. I mean, almost all the starters have some type of injury that they're working through, and almost all of them are limited, with the exceptions of Hunter Henry, Riley Reif, Josh Uche, and Keon White. So, not really a whole lot of game statuses yet, even on this. It's Friday. I was hoping for a little bit more. Let's see. Limited. Max Crosby, that's a big one. Garoppolo is not expected to play this Sunday, so it's going to be two backups playing each other this Sunday. And I think it's two rookies, too, which is even crazier. So, I don't know. Maybe take the under? I don't know, man. I don't know. I give up on the points. Like, watch. I say take the under, and then this game is going to be an offensive shootout somehow. Yeah, for the Bears, obviously Fields not playing. Dan Feeney and Nate Davis. Nate Davis is out. Feeney's questionable. Eddie Jackson's still out. Roschon Johnson is out. Terrell Smith is out. Man, some tough injuries there. Moving on to the Commanders. Only one that didn't practice was the running back. Oh, and Kendall Fuller. That's kind of a big loss, but they're going against the Giants. I'm not too worried about them. Giants, probably the second longest injury list here. It looks like Matt Pert, John Michael Schmitz, and Andrew Thomas, again, offensive line issues, are not going to be playing this week. That's a tough day for the Giants because the Commanders have a very powerful front seven. So let's see, for the Lions, Brian Branch, limited. That's always a good sign. They could really use him back. Gibbs, limited. Jackson, non-participation. Laporta, limited. Montgomery's looking like he's going to be out from what I'm seeing. Let's see. Darby, no practice. Kevin Seymour, no practice. Marcus Williams, no practice. Really, no, not a whole lot of game time or game statuses here. It's a lot of questionables. Braden Smith, their tackle for the Colts, that's going to be out. That's a big loss there. Mainly going through these to see like whatever like you know what I'm saying, skill position players like offensive linemen, you know, stuff like that. Because usually that could be a big sign. And these games you're not going to see too many injury reports on. Yeah. Oof, man. 49ers are banged up, man. But what I have discovered is that DraftKings actually does a pretty good job of keeping the injury statuses up to date. And right now, Josh Allen is a full participant. Deshaun Watson, he's listed, was officially deemed a full practice. He's missed the last two games. He has a rotator cuff strain and in the throwing shoulder. Now, I understand a lot of people are giving him crap, but man, let me tell you, rotator cuff, just ask Chad Pennington, man. that type of an injury, if I mean, I know sports medicine's come a long way since the days of Chad Pennington, but you mess that rotator cuff up and it doesn't heal properly, and you end up having to have surgery, and maybe the surgery doesn't go as expected, or you could really damage your ability to throw the ball down the field. I mean, like I said, just ask Chad Pennington, man. So finding out that he's dealing with a rotator cuff injury in his throwing shoulder kind of makes me understand why he's been super hesitant about coming back and playing. Because he's got a very large contract, and the last thing he needs is to be shut down for the season because he tears his rotator cuff, and then he has to undergo surgery, and who knows what he's going to look like when he comes back. So let's see. With that in mind, yeah, him actually practicing, it's a big step forward. Hasn't commented on starting him, wants to see how he responds over the next 48 hours based on that full workload. All right, that makes sense. He looked good Friday. Fortunately for those considering Watson Week 7 fan, Cleveland kicks off at 1. Yeah, so probably not going to find out too much about him. I mean, honestly, if I were the Browns, they're not – I mean, they're okay. I mean, I forget what their record is. It's probably up here somewhere. They're 3-2, so they're in the mix, but I don't know if it's worth risking like their quarterback, their supposed to be franchise quarterback. Jones is listed as questionable. He's on the wrong side of questionable according to Dayball, which I understand. You'd probably want to keep him out. I mean, with a neck injury. Let's see, running backs. Barkley looks like he's going to play, which is a big bonus, obviously. Montgomery, we know is not going to. I know he's not going to play. Out or doubtful this Friday. So, yeah, Kyron Williams is going to be out. That's a big loss for the Rams. Aaron Jones is just going to be questionable the rest of the year. Like I guarantee you, he's just going to be questionable the rest of the year. Gibbs is gonna be a go. Good. So Gibbs is gonna play against Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore, man, that's gonna be a great game, man. That's gonna be a big test for the. Oh, sorry, damn dog. Sorry about that. It's the issues of having a small dog in a small apartment that has very thin walls and doors. And yeah. Anyway, back to injuries. Kareem Hunt questionable. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going through these because it does matter. It does matter for betting wise. Sometimes teams can be really impacted by players not being available. Yeah, Metcalf is still sidelined at practice, so it's looking like it's going to be a real serious questionable call there for him. Lockett is limited due to the hamstring injury. Deontay Johnson's still on IR. Let's see any other serious ones. We already know Laporta practiced. Henry is looking like he's going to be out due to his ankle injury. Freiermuth, he's going to be out this Sunday. Man, injury bug is really hitting people hard. So that's that for DraftKings, injuries, all that good stuff. All right, moving on to some bets that I'm going to be tracking. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the teaser, because I did say on Tuesday that I did have a good teaser that hit over the weekend. So I'm going to be doing another one. So the teaser I'm going to go is a 6-point teaser. The Patriots starts at plus 8.5. You give that 6-point bump. The Arizona Cardinals will be the next one. This is a parlay, obviously. Arizona Cardinals is going to be at plus 7.5. Give them that 6-point bump against the Seahawks. The Chargers plus 5.5. Give that 6 points to 11.5 against the Chiefs. And the Dolphins plus 2.5. Bump it up to 8.5 against the Eagles. So that's going to be my teaser parlay for this weekend. That's not my main bet, but that's my teaser bet. Probably going to be the only one. I'm undecided if I want to add any more legs to it. I'm not really too keen on any of the other games. Possibly the Colts at 3.5, teasing them up to 9. 3.5 right now in DK. That's where I'm doing the teaser. So that might be another leg I look at adding. But against, Gardner Minshew after that bad game against Jacksonville, you would like to think he bounces back, but we saw what that Cleveland defense did to San Fran. So I don't know. But going forward with regular bets, Browns Colts, I'm not really going to be focusing too much on that. Bills Patriots, money line doesn't look too intriguing. It's probably going to be all minus 400s, yeah. So let's see. Yeah, Bills, money line. You're not really finding any good value there. You might, I don't know. I was going to say the Patriots defense isn't that bad, but they haven't been playing very well at all. I know I'm going with the plus 8.5, but the Bills have a tendency to play down to their competition. And I know the Bills have won in Foxborough plenty of times, but giving that 6-point bump up to 14, man, now I'm starting to second guess myself. I might swap out the Patriots. I don't know, man, because we saw the Giants, go toe to toe with the Bills and almost win. So I'm just sticking with it. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm just gonna stick with it. But yeah, if I that's the only reason I have any exposure in this game is because of the teaser. Raiders Bears, again, 2 backup quarterbacks. It's looking like the under is very low, under 37.5. So I don't know if I would take that and feel comfortable. I might take the. If I were to bet it, I would possibly look at the over. But it's so hard to gauge, man, because it's like which Raiders team is going to show up and which Bears team is going to show up, because both have looked equally bad from week to week. Week in, and then they have a good week, and then they look bad again, or they look subpar. Giants Commanders, I'm actually going to be leaning on the Commanders, honestly. I think minus 3 is a great line for them if you can find it. And as far as the money line goes, minus 150, 148. It's not terrible money line plays. If you were to do like a small parlay, you can turn that into some good change. I think minus 3 for the Commanders against the Giants, and the Giants have a ton of injuries. The Commanders have some injuries they're dealing with, but the Giants they're just in a way worse spot, and the Commanders are seriously trying to. It looks like they're trying to compete for that. For a wild card spot, maybe, if they could continue. That loss to the Bears, I think that loss to the Bears was just a fluke. DJ Moore being the only wide receiver to catch a pass and going off for like 200 yards receiving, I think I'm willing to bet that's a fluke. I think they can cover this minus 3 spread, so that would be a bet that I would take. The Falcons and Buccaneers, again, I'm not really interested in this game. I feel like the Buccaneers could win. They're only at minus 2.5, so they're giving you a field goal chance to cover that spread. And they're right now the over under is 37. We'll go over the public betting here in a minute. Actually, we could do it simultaneously. So it looks like between the Browns and Colts, they're hammering the under. They're giving the Browns minus 3, and obviously on the money line. The Bills, even here they're going with the under on 76%. Raiders, so yeah, see that's what I said. But over 37.5, I feel like that's a pretty generous spot there, because it did open at 46.5. So if you were to get that under 46.5 when the lines opened, that's solid right there. So this is just a percentage of the bets. I don't have the money or anything like that unlocked. You have to have like some premium account, which I refuse to pay for. But yeah, so over 37, Raiders minus 2.5. The Raiders are a more talented team, but they're gonna have two rookie quarterbacks starting against each other. So I mean, unless Josh Jacobs has a big game, I think it could be obviously a lower scoring fare, but definitely over 37.5 total points. You're looking at like a 21-17. I'm just trying to do math in my head real quick. The Commanders, this looks actually pretty even except for the under. People are going on the under 37.5. But the money line is actually going pretty hard for the Commanders, 60%, even though the spread is favoring the Giants at plus 2.5. I don't know about that. I still stand by my designation. Let's see. All right. So Falcons Buccaneers. I mean, I know we can probably just. It doesn't show like all the books here. Well, most of the books you can't even really see it because of this thing here. Again, Falcons Buccaneers, not really interested. I can see this going over 37 points, but me personally, like, I feel like the Buccaneers are going to win this just because if they can just stop the Falcons' run game, I think they'll be fine. But their pass defense has just been so bad. Like, I just don't see how they could. I don't know. I mean, I know it's Desmond Ridder, but I don't know. Anything could happen, man, as we saw on Thursday night. So, yeah. Like I said, I lean on the Buccaneers, but it's just not a bet I'm going to be too interested in taking. For the Lions, you know me, I'm taking that Lions +3. It's already on the. I'm taking that Lions +3. It's already on the teaser, I believe. Yeah, and the over/unders on 43. We can look at both these games real quick. So we got. Falcons Buccaneers. Yeah, it's overwhelming for the Buccaneers, and on the under too, under 37 is at 82%. So 56% is going for that +3. The under at under 43, and people are hammering those underdog Lions here at +135 on the money line. 80% of the bets going on that. So that's looking like a sharp bet right there, and I think they're right. I think that's a good bet. So I would definitely. That's the one bet. Obviously, I'm taking as a teaser, but I would put money on the money line for the Lions. All right, for the Cardinals Seahawks, we already know we have this as part of our teaser +7.5, and over/unders at 44. Money line on the Cardinals is up there. Seahawks is even though the Seahawks haven't been that impressive outside of what didn't they have like one really good game? I can't remember. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Memory's going on me, man. But it looks like a lot of the money is obviously going on the Seahawks -7.5. They're going with the under. There's a little bit of a disparity there, but not much. And then, of course, people hammering that money line for the Seahawks. So, I mean, obviously, Seahawks, percentage of the bets, everyone's going with them. Yeah, I think the Cardinals could cover that +7.5, but we're going with the teaser just to be safe. Steelers and Rams, taking the Rams -3 all the way. That's going to be part of that that pool that I'm in. And they got the over/under around 44. Yep. And they're not even giving the money line that much. They're not even downing the money line on the Rams that hard. It's still under 200, which is solid. If you can get 165, that's amazing. Right now, the Rams, heavy favorites. They're looking at over on points, which I can get behind. I mean, the Rams' defense isn't what it used to be, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers score some points. But the Steelers' offense has not looked that great this year. Yeah, 80% of the money on the money line, or 80% of the bets on the money line, 74% of the bets on the spread for the Rams, both of those. And I'm definitely going with the Rams on this one, -3. I think that's an easy line. Playing at home to a mid-east, mid-east team, I think that's easy. Packers Broncos, disgusting matchup that I don't even want to watch. I have no interest in this game whatsoever. And let's see. Looks like people are really going with the Packers, and people are slamming that under 45, man. And I think that's the way to go. If you're gonna bet this, man, just follow the public and go under 45. But yeah, 62% on the spread for the Packers, 76% on the money line, -112. Makes sense. Chargers Chiefs. Again, this is part of our teaser, and I might be taking this in my pool as well, +5.5. I think the Chargers, if they can just get out of their own way. I mean, they obviously covered their spread last week against Dallas, or Monday night against Dallas, which was a great game, by the way. Both teams played a great game. I think the Chargers can cover this spread. In my opinion, I mean, I know Kansas City just got McCole Hartman back on the roster, but I mean, well, and he already knows the playbook. I mean, most of the playbook. He's been with Andy Reid for years, so he may be able to make a difference. But for the most part, though, outside of Travis Kelce, none of these receivers for the Chiefs, I've said it, time and time again, none of these receivers really jump off the page at me, except for Rashee Rice, and he's still coming along nicely, but he's really raw. So, and I think the Chargers have enough talent on defense. They may not be able to stop Kelce, but they can. I think they can handle everyone else and limit the damage Kelce can do. It's just that pass rush needs to get home to Mahomes. And I know that's why the spread at +5.5 I think is fine. I know it's a long. I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll cover the spread. Because that Chargers coach, he's got a knack for making bad calls at bad times and costing them the game. Where's the public on this? Yeah, like I said, 79% of the bets going for that spread. They're going under on the points, under 48. It's a little bit of disparity here, but under 48. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. So they're looking at like maybe a 24-17 kind of game, 24-21, something like that. And the money line, a lot of people hammering that money line for the Chargers, 64%. Could this be the game that backfires on the public? I don't know. I think they'll cover the spread. Those money line bets, I don't know, man. I like the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert. But I don't know if I'm comfortable enough against the Chiefs to hammer that money line just yet. Dolphins-Eagles, probably the game of the week that everyone's going to be watching. I thought this was flexed. It says 425. I thought this was a primetime game. Is it not? Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't know why it says 425. What the heck? What is this? Action Sports says it's kind of messed up. Okay. All right. Swap. This is the Sunday night game. But anyway, yeah, that should be the game of the week. So, yeah, obviously. Whoops. Sorry about that. So, Dolphins, Eagles. Oh, come on. I got to do the hand. All markets. All right. All right. There we go. Again, this is part of our teaser, and I'm also going to be taking this in the pool, +2.5 on the Dolphins. Yeah, the points obviously up there at 51.5, and the money line is kind of evenly split a little bit, obviously favoring the Eagles a little bit more. I don't know why, because the Eagles have not played particularly well this year. They haven't really had that really big convincing win. I mean, we saw Mac Jones put up over 300 and like almost 350 yards and 3 touchdowns against them. Kirk Cousins torched them for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Zach Wilson outplayed Jalen Hurts, and the Commanders almost took the Eagles to overtime. I mean, it's just the Eagles have not had that convincing one. Even against the Rams had an opportunity to claw back into that game. And I think it was just the weakness of their defense. That was really what held them back. So, and I know the public is with me on that. Oh, really? I am shocked. Everyone's going at -2.5 on Philly. Huh. Interesting. And they're also hammering that under 51. I don't know about that. I don't know. The money line, though, is pretty evenly split, though. 47% going with the Dolphins. This is probably going to be one of the few times you get that plus money for the Dolphins on the money line, especially if they play well, no matter the outcome against the Eagles. So a lot of people are saying this could be a Super Bowl matchup preview. And there's also, I'm hearing rumors that Jalen Ramsey might be back for the Dolphins. And if that happens, that could change things very much. I know Xavier Howard has been limited in practice, but if they have both Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey on the field, it's going to be a tough day. And the Eagles are looking like they're going to be missing Lane Johnson as well, so that should free up some pass rushing opportunities for Bradley Chubb and company, because we really haven't seen that pass rush for the Dolphins come alive yet. So, but yeah, that's my pick, +2.5 for the Dolphins. And I would even ride that money line too. I'd even ride the money line on that. This is one of those games where I would take that risk and put money on the money line. Just because, like I said, it's probably one of the few times this season you're going to find the Dolphins in plus money on the money line. 49ers, Vikings. This is another game. Even though they have their injuries, I am looking at taking this in my pool. I believe the line was 6.5. It may be 7. I'm not sure. I know they opened really low because of the injuries, but all the injuries are looking pretty non-serious. Debo is just banged up, and Christian McCaffrey is banged up. They didn't practice. I forget what day. It may have been today. I'm not sure. But they have that extra day to recover for Monday Night Football. So I think the 49ers are going to be fine. The Vikings don't scare me at all without Justin Jefferson. I like Kirk Cousins a lot. I think he's been playing great for the Vikings these last few years. It's just that his offensive line and his defense just let him down. And right now it's injuries for Justin Jefferson, which is very, very upsetting because he is a generational talent. So, but I think the 49ers on a spread like this at -7 is fantastic. If you can get it at -6.5 even, 6.5, 7, it's basically the same thing. But 7 is fine. I definitely like that. I may even take the under on points, under 44. And, money line, there's really no point in betting the money line unless it's in a parlay. And the public seems to agree. 83% for the spread, 71% for the under, and 89% for the money line for the 49ers. So those are my bets for this week. As for player props, I'm not really good at picking player props, to be perfectly honest. If I were to pick player props for, like, say, the Dolphins and the Eagles, I would probably, depending if it's 1.5, both quarterbacks to throw over 1.5 touchdowns. I would expect this game to be high scoring, comparative to what little scoring has happened. This has been a very unexplosive year, minus the Dolphins play. Let's see, for the Chiefs Chargers, depending on how high his player prop is, Kelsey. And I would even say Chargers for Herbert to throw 2 touchdowns. What other player props are there that I would look at? Not really all that interested. Maybe Sam Howell. No, maybe Brian Robinson on his running Brian Robinson Jr. for rushing. Maybe Sam Howell, depending on where the touchdowns are. It's probably 1.5. I keep doing that. Raiders Bears. There's no play. I'm not interested in player props there. Bills Patriots. Maybe Stephon Diggs, his receiving prop, and Browns Colts. Don't care. All right, so those are my picks. Those are what I'm looking at betting this week for the NFL. I'm not going over college because I have not been betting college that well, so need to get better at that before I start hammering you guys with college picks. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know what picks you're eyeing, you're trailing, all that good stuff. And I wish all of you the best of luck. Let's rebound from a miserable Thursday night and win some money this Sunday. And I'll catch you all later.